So, hi Martin, nice to meet you. After all these
Hi,
years, I've been a big fan of your band for many years now. Uh, since 2012, when your first album came out, I've been
it's a
reviewing.
long time.
I've been reviewing your music ever since. So it's an honor and a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to hear.
And being a drummer myself, it's nice to get to speak to a drummer of the band, because normally it's the front man or the guitarist. Not taking anything away from them, but the drummers kind of get pushed to the back for everything.
It happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then you have Metallica.
yeah, Metallica. Yeah, Lars is up on the front there with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, having listened to the band for as long as I have, I've noticed this gradual increase of the sound. The sounds, of course, improved over time because you want to do that as a band. You want to grow musically as a band. Um, but I've heard you and Joel speak that you think this is your best album to date.
Yeah, we really do. Uh, I think it's a lot, and it's a really straight to the point and clear, and the message that we want to uh, talk about is there, and but it still has all the elements that a Soen album needs to have with whatever dynamics and a certain grade of complexity in its songs. We're very very happy, and we think it is our best album.
Yeah, I like the diversity of the music. Like it's not some of the previous albums you've been consistently, but this one has peaks and valleys, and you've really hit some high notes. And a lot of the singles that you've
Yeah,
released.
there's some songs that are not what we usually do also
No,
in terms of song structure and stuff. That, not meaning that we go far from what we do, but kind of finding some different new ways to express ourselves and new ways to somehow reach that emotion level that we want our songs to have.
yeah. So you almost went experimental in a way, like you transitioned a bit.
I don't know because always when I think experimental, I'm thinking experimental, and that means trying weird instruments and
Right,
maybe having a lot of influences from other cultures musically
right.
and stuff. And no, we just kind of honestly we were quite happy and comfortable with the sound that we had in Lotus, and that style of music really feels perfect for us. So we wanted to keep that and keep improving that because I think we have a lot more to give in that area. So instead of going nuts and started changing anything, we just want to be the best that we can into that style first.
Um, yeah, Modesty. I love the drumming in Modesty. That really stands out to me. Um, Instinctively, I always hear the drums first. A lot of people are like, "Well, how can you hear the drums first when they got all the music playing?" I'm like, "Well, that's just a drummer's thing, you know. We just pick up the drums right away." And
Yeah.
but Modesty really stands out. Now, did you have a lot of say in the um, like when it comes to writing the music? Do you have any say in how you want the drums played out, or is that?
I write all the songs. So
Oh, you write all the songs.
I
I'm sorry.
mean,
Yeah.
so uh, of course I get to decide on the drums, but I write all the songs. Sounds a little bit, but let's say I write all the music, and then we meet with Joel, and we start putting vocals and deciding, and Lars jumps in and helps out with structure, and then I start sending files back and forth with coding, and somehow making those ideas actually turn into Soen songs. But of course, I do most of the riffing and all that. So, and as soon as I'm writing a riff, I kind of have automatically the drums in my head, because our songs are very. I mean, we're a very rhythmical band, and not in the sense of weird rhythms, but more in the sense of very groove based kind of song. And so I guess that everything somehow starts with that, the kind of groove that you want to have on a certain song, and from there you start building.
Yeah, because I just like the progression of the song, how it starts out with that symphonic, almost the high pitched keys, and then you just hitting off the rims. And
it's a different song for us also. That whole song actually comes from a black metal riff that I had.
Oh, okay.
That I just really liked, and didn't really know what to do with it, and Lars and I came up with the idea of maybe turning that riff into turning that guitar riff into a string, into a violoncello, and I think it is, and kind of taking it from there, because it will give you a whole new dimension to to base the song on. So that's what we did, and from there the weird rhythm drum pattern came in the beginning, and we started building the song.
Yeah, that's the song that sticks out for me, just because of that drum pattern in there. It's just awesome. Who were your inspirations growing up as a drummer? Was that your first instrument, was the drums, or did you start out on something different?
No, I played a lot of percussion growing up, Latin percussion and stuff, before I discovered rock and metal and all that. So I played a lot of Latin percussion, African percussion, because my parents were involved into that kind of stuff. So that's what I did until I finally heard, I think it was Kiss, and started getting into drums, and from there I started quite young, and I've been playing a lot of drums lately. I'm going back to percussion a lot, just because I don't want to somehow play too much drums and make it boring. I want to keep the excitement of being a drummer alive. So I tend to, when I'm gonna jam and just do things around, I tend to focus more on percussion, and just keep the drums for recording and touring and so on and stuff, pretty much.
Yeah. So how is the recording process changed for you guys? Because with COVID and everything, you can't be. Have you just done your tracks at home, and then you guys have...
It wasn't that bad, because first of all, we don't have any major restrictions in Sweden. We haven't had any. I think the first I don't know, tougher restrictions came a week ago, when you're not supposed to be more than 8 people in the same room, and you have to wear masks on the bus and stuff like that. But before that, we didn't. It was more of a don't cough each other in the face, like, and just kind of common sense based,
Right.
which didn't go well at all. Joel and Lars, we live really close to each other. Actually, we can just walk to each other, so we could work as we normally do. And our guitar player is Canadian. He lives in Canada, so we're used to working through files. For the last album, we flew him over to record his solos and all that. This time he had to send files of his solos and all that too. Our bass player is from the Ukraine, so we have to work through files. But honestly, it doesn't matter much because, as I say, I ride from home and then I meet Joel and then Lars comes there, and it's usually how we work. So it didn't influence that much.
Lumerian, very the lyrics are kind of downtrodden, but Joel's vocals are so hopeful. Like you can hear the hope and the inspiration coming out of the vocals. He's got such a range as a vocalist. It's just amazing. Like every album you guys make, he just astounds me every single time another album comes out.
No, I think he's the one that he keeps improving with every album, with every tour. But he's a maniac. It's really obsessive into finding the right character to represent a lyric in a song, and it's really he works a lot on the character of the songs, and he has a great range. He always had, but somehow lately I think the music is kind of more allowing him to go wild and reach all these high notes that maybe we didn't need before. So, but yeah, I think his work on Imperial is really amazing.
It really is. He like you say, he just keeps improving with every album.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, right? You want that growth.
That's it. That's exactly what you want. Not only because you want to have a great singer, but it also pushes you to be better. A better songwriter to match this guy, and also because it gives you a lot more. It gives you more room to take all the songs further, yeah, and keep discovering stuff and see what you can do as a band. I guess if you had musicians and a singer that already kind of have given everything that he has, then you're blocked. I mean, you don't have any new space to explore the songwriting much. You have to stay where you are because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, you can't progress like you guys have progressed over the years. Like you say, it just.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So now, what's because of COVID, you guys can't tour. Are you guys planning any like online events or anything? Because a lot of bands are doing that now with COVID.
We have we always had this idea of this dream of trying to make something with our soft and heavy songs, but to play them in a semi-acoustic way with a string quartet and a choir, something like that, because the songs are so emotion based that I think that could all really give our songs an extra push in the part, the beautiful part of the song. So we always wanted to try to do that and never had the time, and now when we actually are forced to have the time, we are getting into that and arranging all those songs for a string quartet and such, and it's turning really, really magical for us. So we're gonna see if we can make that happen and do a stream, or maybe release an album that way or something like that.
Nice. That'd be nice to hear. You literally
Yeah.
break it down. And so would you just be playing percussion then?
Yeah,
Like you want to just sit back and play percussion?
I'll guess there will be some percussion, but the thing is kind of, there's this thing when you have string quartet choirs and such, you kind of need a steady drum beat behind.
Right.
Because if I also start playing too much with percussion, then suddenly we don't have a song anymore. It's just circus. So we have to be really smart in the choices of arrangement that we make. But there will be something.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, yeah.
Because Septic Flesh did that in 2017, I think it was. They did a concert in Mexico, and they had full orchestra, full choir, because that's what their music is predominantly known as, right? Like they have the orchestra and the choir.
Yeah, but they play the songs as they are and just added stuff. We are thinking about, which is really good too, but we are kind of thinking of completely kind of changing the songs so that they really fit this these different new instruments and all that, instead of adding. But we'll see. So far it's just an idea, and we have been working a little bit into that, but we're gonna try to make it happen.
That sounds like a really cool idea. I think you guys would do well with that. Because you guys have such you can transcend it into that classical form almost,
I think we have the kind of I mean the first thing is you gotta have the singer for that, which I think we have.
Yes.
And when you have the singer, you kind of need to have your music needs to be based on melodies, which is also the same. It's also us. So we should be fine, but we want to make it more than fine.
You want to make it just right.
Exactly.
It's got to suit you guys, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly.
I mean, we have to. We gotta love it, otherwise there's no point in doing it, really.
Well, yeah, because you're the ones who have to follow through with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is in the end of the day. It's just you guys have to follow through and show up and do it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lunacy was like probably one of my favorite albums of the band's.
Lotus, you mean?
Lotus. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Lotus. Lunacy is one of my favorite songs from Lotus, which is like
Lunacy is one of the songs that we are trying on this semi-acoustic thing, and it's really sounding great so far. Lotus is a great album. I really love it. I think that we kind of solidified our identity with that album and found our own thing and felt very comfortable with it. And also it was an album that a lot of people discovered us by hearing that album. So it's we're happy with it.
I've noticed. I was told I only have 20 minutes with you. That's what Becky told me.
I think we have 9 more. I got another interview at 9.
Okay.
Swedish time.
Well, I do want to thank Becky Black for making this happen. It's
Cool.
Becky Black with Costa
Cosa Nostra. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who facilitated, made this interview possible.
Great. I haven't met any of the American team of yet, but they're doing a good job.
Yes, she's really pushed the album a lot and the singles, and
That's what we need.
Well, and that's their job, right? They're supposed to be pushing the band.
Yeah, I don't really know how that the all that aspect really works. I kind of tend to stay outside of the whole business because it bores me to death. And but yeah, I mean, she got us some cool interviews in the States, which.
So when you're not writing, when you're not recording, and of course you can't tour right now, what does Martin like to do when you're at home? You know, what do you like to do when you
I'm a father. I mean, I have 4 kids, and I got 2 snakes. I got a gecko lizard. I got a dog. I got a wife. I'm a family oriented person when I'm home, and normally we tour, so you get to really, when you're home, you get to appreciate the time of being home. Now it's been for a long while, and we're kind of, so we're just trying to, writing music and doing some of that, but otherwise there's a lot to do. And honestly, I don't think I have any other hobbies than just music, sadly.
Oh, hey, that's what makes you tick, right? Besides your family, that's what makes you.
Yeah, that's what I love. I'm fine with it. I mean, of course, there's a lot of other things that interest me and such, but it's harder and harder to find the time to do anything. On tour, I actually get to do more, I don't know, reading or listening to interesting, podcasts that would interest me. But at home, I don't really get the time.
No, with 4 kids, I guess not. Yeah.
No.
So I'm curious, what kind of snakes have you got?
It's not my snakes. I'm terrified of snakes.
Okay.
It's my 7-year-old daughter got I don't know, a snake, and my oldest son, 12, he has a bigger snake, and they're snakes. They're not so much fun. They're there, but they I don't know. They don't like fluffy animals. They like reptiles. Then my youngest son has a dog, and then my youngest daughter has this lizard.
Well, kids like what they like, right?
Exactly. And being a touring dad, they always find that day when you're in tour and you miss them and you feel bad because you're not at home, and that's the day when they say, they tell you, can I buy a snake? And
Right.
There's no way you say no. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that must be difficult.
It's quite hard to say no to that. And when you're in that situation and they know it, they kind of push your buttons, and they win.
So it must be nice in retrospect, because like you say, when you're on tour, you don't get to see your family all that much, and now you can't tour, so you get to see your family more.
It's great. I mean, we don't tour that much just because we are really we really don't want the band to turn into something that we that we hate. You know, and if we tour, we all have families, and if we tour too much, you know, and if you feel that the band is kind of just taking all the time out of your family, then we won't be happy doing it. So we tour as little as possible, but we still, you know, go away, and we have young kids, so it's tough every time. But you know, you still get to do it in a way where you know that you're home, and you will be home for a while, and that, you know, you get to do what you love, because you have to do what you love, otherwise you turn into a bitter father, you know. So I think we're all really smart in the amount of tour that we do and the amount of time that we have the band instead of having, you know, family time, because it's not worth it at the end, you know. I mean,
Yeah. Because then you're just a machine out there touring all the time. And
yeah, no, it's yeah, and it's really not our thing. We're not interested in conquering the world or being a huge success. We do things that, you know, at the time, at our time, and take it easy, and just make sure that we have fun and that we love every second that we're on stage. And so far so good. I mean, I think we're in a good spot, and we feel that the band is still growing, even if we don't promote ourselves as maybe we should, and maybe if we don't do as many interviews as we should, and we don't tour as much as we should. I think you gotta do things the way you feel is right.
Yeah, nobody can take that away from you, because you're doing what you as a band want to do. You just want to get your music out. You want as many people obviously to hear it as possible, but at the same token, you just want to get your music out and get it heard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an easy question at the end. The question is, for what? Why do we have a band? And why we play music? Because it makes us happy, and so happiness is the number one in all this, and we want to make our families happy because that makes us happy. And if we're gonna be touring extensively, chasing money, you know, we might get rich, but we won't be happy. And even if it's a cliche that everyone knows, just money is not gonna buy you happiness, and you have to be smart in how you spend your time, because time goes away. It's not coming back. So that's the priority for us always.
Yeah, value time, especially with your loved ones. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add at all, Martin? It was wonderful to speak with you.
No, wonderful to speak to you, and I hope we get to tour the States as soon as this pandemic is over, because we've been looking forward to
Canada.
Even better. Well, we've been in Canada once.
Nice.
For us, let's say we want to tour North America, and because we haven't been there, and yeah, and thanks for the interview.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure. Take care.
Take care. All the best.
Bye. All the best.